So what you'll need is 3 different colors. I'm using a tan, a brown, and then like an off-white creamy color. And then you'll need a 2mm crochet hook and a pair of scissors. So I'm gonna start with the brown, the darker brown color, and I'm gonna start with a slip knot. And then I'm gonna make a chain of 12 and then chain 2. So a chain is yarn around your needle, pull through. That's 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then I'm going to chain 2 and go into that 12th stitch with a half double crochet. So that's yarn around your needle, into the stitch, catch the yarn on the other side, pull through. So you have 3 loops now on your needle. Then yarn around your needle and pull through all 3 loops, so you have 1 loop on your needle. So I'm just going to do that along the chain. Until we get to that end stitch. So we're coming to the end stitch there. So you're going to do 3 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Then you're going to chain 1 and then do 3 double crochets in the same stitch again. 3 half double crochets in the same stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3. And then we just carry on doing half double crochets until we get to that side. And then we go into that end stitch there. Then we're gonna cut off the yarn, and then we're gonna use the tan color now. So I'm gonna start with a slip knot. So this is how you join the colors, or well, change colors. So I'll just tighten the slip knot, and then catch the slip knot through the stitch, and then or pull it through the stitch, and then chain 2, and then flip your work around and do half double crochets in each stitch. So and I'll show you what we do when you get to the top there. So I don't know if you can see, but here's that little chain 1 that we did, and here's our 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. So I need to just do a half double crochet in that 3rd stitch. Then in that chain 1 we did, you're going to do the same thing you did in the previous round. So you do 3 half double crochets, chain 1, and then do 3 half double crochets again in that same stitch. Two, and then 3. No. And then you go into the stitch straight after, or right next to your increase. And then this increase is gonna get that triangle shape of the bikini top. Here, like this shape. And look, you can see on each round where we increased. So we're just gonna carry on down to the other end. And go into that end stitch, and then I'm just gonna take my scissors, cut off this tan color, and then I'm gonna stop with, well, the third color, which is the white, off-white natural cream color. I don't really know, so I'll do a slip knot, and then pull the slip knot through the stitch, and then chain 2, flip your work around and do half double crochets into each stitch. And then just notice how I've got the strings to the left hand side of my work so I can crochet over them. So we go in right in that stitch, and then here is our chain 1 where we're going to do our increase. So you do your 3 half double crochets, chain 1, and then you do your 3 half double crochets again. And then do your go into that stitch right next to where you did your increase. And we're going to be doing this pattern for 10 rows. So I will meet you back when I've done 10 rows, but you can, for a bigger cup, do more rows for the cup to fit you. And then if you want a smaller cup, you can do less rows. It's all up to you. So this is the end of 9 rows, and then my 10th row is going to be the color I started with in the middle. So we can do our slip knot, and then going to do our chain 2, and turn our work around, and then we can do our half double crochets and then we're going to do our increase in the middle there. Chain 1, and then do your 3 half double crochets again. So 3 half double crochets, chain 1, and then 3 half double crochets again, and then go into that stitch, and then we'll crochet down to the end there. So we do that half double crochet in the last stitch. Then I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm going to half double crochet along the bottom of the top. I'm going to try go in like every stitch, even though it's quite difficult to see. I'm just going to go along the bottom. Okay, no, that's not the right stitch. So we finished half double crocheting along the bottom of the row. So I'm just gonna cut the yarn off, then pull it through the stitch and tug on it till it's a bit tight. There we go. Okay, so once you've done your cups, I'm gonna make the straps. So I'm gonna take the color I did on the last row, and then I'm gonna kind of make space for like a long piece of string, because I'll show you, we're making the straps kind of in a different way. So I'm gonna, in that gap, I'm going to put my needle through, catch the yarn on the other side, and put it through. Okay, so you can see you have your your two pieces of string. You have your front and then the back. So you're going to put the front over your hook, and then the back, you catch the yarn and then pull it through. I can't really see what I'm doing, but yeah, so catch the yarn. Put the front one over the hook, and then the back yarn goes around your hook and then pull through. Why is this? There we go. Around. Pull through. So that's 3. Around. 4. So I did 100 rows of this chain. So now I'm going to cut the yarn and then take the back string, and I'm just gonna pull it through the stitch, and then I'm just gonna make a knot. Then I'm gonna weave in the just strands. Okay, so once you've done both cups with the straps, we're gonna do the same chain thing for the bottom string. So let's get started with that. So I'm gonna make quite a long string, and I think that I'm gonna make like 160, well, like a chain of 160, I think. So I've left quite a bit of yarn. So then I'm just actually gonna slip knot the yarn, stick my needle through, and then here's my front stitch, here's my front yarn, and then back yarn. So I wrap the front around the back, around the needle, and then catch the yarn. So that's 1. 2. So the front string goes that way around the yarn, then you around the needle, then catch on the other side. Yarn around your needle. So I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've made a chain here of like 160, but I want it longer and I've run out of yarn. So I'm just taking another ball of wool and just making like a little knot. But this is a sign that you should leave enough string, because you'd rather be safe than sorry, like me right now. So I think I'm gonna go to 180. So 180 chains of doing this. Let's just see how this works. Okay, yeah, you can just. So I've made my chain of 185, but you can make your chain like how long you want it to be. You could do more or less. Yeah, so I'm just cutting off the yarn, take the back string and pull it through the stitch and tighten it, then I'll make a little knot. And then I'm gonna cut off these little strings from the knot that I made from joining the, like making more yarn. Ugh, why is it not cutting? Okay. Oh, and I never showed you, we meant to be weaving in the strings from the end of Okay, so now that we got our chain, you can see our cups. See, now this is the tricky bit. Well, it's not tricky, but it's just like a lot of tugging. So here you can see each stitch. I'm gonna weave my needle under, then over, then under, over, under, over, under. Okay, then I'm gonna catch the chain with my hook and pull it through. See, there's a lot of tugging. Go. And just slide it along the chain. And then, yeah, it kind of messes it up a little bit, but that's fine. And I'm gonna go under, over, under, over, under. And put my needle through the chain, and I'm just gonna tug. Okay, maybe that's not happening. So now we've got 1 cup on the string. We're going to put the other cup on the string. But what I would recommend is to use the side you started with, not the inside, because it kind of breaks the knot that you did to finish off the row. So we're going to start from this side of the cup. I can just turn it around, maybe that would be easier. So I'm going to start with under, over, okay, so then I'm going to take that and just pull it through. Easy. There we go. That one was so much easier. Now we have both cups on the string, and then we can just weave in the extra strings on all the sides here. I'm just going to cut it off. So to start with the bottoms, I made a chain of 45, and then I'm going to chain 2 and go into the 45th stitch with a half double crochet. So I just need to get so we're going to crochet along this chain and half double crochet, and I'll show you when we come towards the end of the chain what we're going to do. So we're going into that last stitch with the half double crochet. Then we're going to change the color to the tan, make a slip knot, and we're going to start decreasing in row 2. So we will pull your slip knot through your stitch, chain 2, flip your work around, and then we're going to go into that first stitch, catch the yarn on the other side, pull the yarn through, so you have 2 loops on your hook. Then we're going to go into the second stitch and pull the yarn through, so we have 3 loops on our hook. Then catch the yarn and pull through all 3 loops, so that's our decrease. So we start row 2 with that decrease, and then we're going to end row 2 with a decrease as well. So I'll show you when I get to the other side. So we have 2 more stitches to go. So we're going to do our decrease in those 2 stitches. So put your needle through the stitch, catch the yarn on the other side and pull it through. So you have 2 loops on your hook. Then go into that last stitch, catch the yarn, pull it through. So you have 3 loops. Then yarn around your needle and pull through all 3 loops. So that's your decrease. So you end and begin the row 2 with a decrease. So we're going to cut the yarn and we're going to change the color to this cream color. So you're going to make a slip knot. Tighten your slip knot and then pull it through the stitch. Chain 2. Turn your work around and then start your decrease. Go and stitch 1, pull the yarn on the other side, so you have 2 loops, and then you go into the next stitch and pull through, so you have 3 loops now on your hook. Then yarn around your needle and pull through all 3 loops. So then we're just gonna half double crochet to the other side. So we're coming to the end 2 stitches of the 3rd row, and we're gonna decrease, and then we're gonna change color and decrease at the beginning of the row, and then at the end of the row for the next rows. And we're going to start row 4. I'm starting with the brown color again. I'm going to pull it through the stitch, chain 2, go into the first stitch, catch the yarn on the other side and pull it through. Go into the second stitch, catch the yarn on the other side and pull it through. So you have 3 loops, then catch the yarn and pull through all 3 loops. Then we're going to carry on with our half double crochets, and then we'll decrease at the end of the row as well, and then change color and decrease at the beginning of the end of each row. So we'll be doing this for the next few rows. And I will be back once I've done 18 rows, 18th row, and we're still going to decrease, so we're going to finish the 18th row with a decrease. Then I'm going to cut the brown off, and I'm going to start with the tan. So then I'm going to chain 2, flip my work around, and from row 19 to row 24, we're not going to decrease. We're just going to half double crochet in every stitch. Go into the last stitch with a half double crochet, and then we can change the color, and we're just going to do that pattern for the next, from row 19 to row 24. So we stopped decreasing at row 19 and I carried on going straight until row 26. And now for row 27, we're going to start increasing. So we're going to take the brown and I'm going to slip it through. I'm going to chain 2, turn my work around, and I'm going to show you how we're going to increase. So I'm going to go into that very first stitch twice. So I'm just going to put so into the stitch. So that's once, twice, and then we carry on until the end of the row. So we're coming into that last stitch and we're going to do 2 half double crochets in that stitch. So we're going to increase in the beginning and the end of each row. So we're going to be doing that for the next rows. So I'm just going to put a marker where I started increasing. So I can start with the tan. I'll just show you again how we increase. Chain 2, flip your work around, and do 2 half double crochets in the very first stitch. And then at the other side, I'll show you once more when I get there. Quickly just going to take the marker out, and then we'll do our increase in that end stitch there. We'll do 2 half double crochets in that stitch. Okay, so we've increased for 25 rows from the counter, and I've just cut off the piece of yarn, well, the string that I was working with, and then I'm gonna pull it through and tighten it off. So now we need to make the ties. So I'm just gonna stick my needle through that stitch, that end stitch, and I'm gonna leave enough string to do the chain. So I'm gonna bring the string or the yarn through the stitch, and then I'm gonna wrap the front yarn around this way around the hook, and then catch that way around with the second strand of the yarn. So That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's a chain of 35, and we're going to be doing that on every corner of the bikini. So we'll be doing 35 chains in that corner, 35 chains in that corner, and then 35 chains in this corner. And I'll meet you once I've done that. Okay, so once you've finished all the sides, you just want to sew in, or well, get rid of all these little strings flying around. Just like by sewing them in, and then you just cut them off. And then you also want to look for any other strings that we've sewn in that are flapping out, and we can just cut them out or cut them off. And I've still got to sew in all the other strings, and I will see you once I've done all of that. So here's just a few different ways you can wear the bikini top, and thanks for watching.